Welcome to Life Planning 101, brought to you by Kennedy Financial Services of Eastland. Tune in every Monday morning at 8:30 on KATX and KWBY, and again on Saturday morning at 9 on KATX and KWBY as Angela Robinson joins Terry Slavens to share important financial information to help you live life on purpose. Insurance, investments, estate and tax planning, and much more. All covered now on Life Planning 101.
Welcome in the final Life Planning 101 of 2019. Terry Slavens with you, joined as always by Angela Robinson. Good morning, Angela, and happy holidays.
Yes, Merry Christmas.
Happy New Year.
We're almost into the brand new year, 2020. Can you believe it?
Our Saturday listeners will be 2020.
They will be 2020, which is perfect for today's show. We're going to be talking more about that 2020 vision that we promised. And don't you love that 2020
I love
vision?
that, and it's amazing. Your dad was the first one that brought that up on his show several weeks ago. Traveling over the holidays, I heard a lot of 2020
vision.
Stuff.
Love it.
You know, I mean, different companies are using that as their. But I'm gonna credit Jim.
Yeah, of course, yes.
The founding father.
Exactly. Just same way with helping people live life on purpose. We coined that before the book was written. So but the wonderful thing about the end of the year, at least for me, is you've spent all this time with family, hopefully not pulled each other's hair out, but when you're especially, I was sitting there yesterday afternoon and, my kids are bundled up with me on the couch and we're just watching a movie, and I was just thinking about how much of God's favor He's shined on our lives and how amazing it was just to be sitting there holding my boys, and how special of a time that was. And, I think we all get to enjoy that, or at least I hope and I pray you get to enjoy some of that over the Christmas holidays and really, understand what life is supposed to be about, right? And I think that's what makes this time of year so wonderful, and what it makes it so inspirational, right? Because you're finishing off the year strong with purpose, with everything that you've built your life around, right? You've gotten to focus on what matters most. And then you're going into a new year with all of that gumption behind you and being able to say, I'm going to conquer the world.
Right? Going to the gym every day.
I'm going to the gym every day. Gym memberships, watch out. Brett's going to come home and start working out, I promise you.
And he'll be griping about all the...
Oh, he does. He hates January. So he comes home. He really does. He won't work out in the gym. But I want to start out today by telling you a story of a lady named Florence Chadwick. Have you ever heard that name?
That name sounds familiar, but I'm not sure where.
Okay, it probably would. So she is known for, she was the first woman that swam the 21 miles that crosses the Catalina Channel from Catalina Island to the California coast, okay? She also had set, many international records. She set the record for swimming the English Channel between England and France, and she did all this back in 1952, by the way, which is absolutely amazing. But what I want to tell you about her is about her first experience, her first attempt swimming that Catalina Channel and what it was all about. So that day, the ocean, of course, have you ever swam in the ocean in California?
Yes.
Okay.
It's not warm.
No, it's not.
Sunny California does not mean warm water.
No, and in fact, I remember being out there for the first time as a kid, and I was watching everybody jump in the water, no big deal, and I went and jumped in the water and was like, take my breath away, right? Couldn't breathe out of the whole deal. So that's on a normal day. Well, the ocean was ice cold this day she's swimming. The fog was so thick that she couldn't even see the support boats that are supposed to be following her to make sure that she's staying on track. Sharks were prowling so bad that the people on the support boats were having to fire off guns just to get the sharks to go away.
Wow.
Several times, okay? After 15 hours and 55 minutes, she felt she couldn't go on. She asked to be taken out of the water. The thing that she didn't know was she only had a half a mile to go. She told a reporter afterwards, I'm not excusing myself, but if I could have seen land, I know I could have made it.
Needed that carrot out there.
She needed that carrot out there. So we talk about 2020 vision. How many times does that fog of life get between you and that carrot, so to speak, right? How many times do you only have a half mile more to go and you give up because you can't see clearly about what's going on? Well, that's exactly what we're going to be talking about on Life Planning 101 today, is how to get 2020 vision for 2020 and make it your best year ever. In fact, make the rest of your life the best years of your life.
And welcome back. Segment 2, Life Planning 101, 2020 Vision, Angela.
2020 Vision. Just imagine being Florence Chadwick, half a mile to go to swim across the entire Catalina Island, from Catalina Island to the California coast. Those conditions we talked about, sharks, cold water, fog, and have given up and not realizing you only had a half a mile to go. Wow. Yes. But you got to ask yourself, be honest with yourself. Have you done that?
Absolutely.
In life, yeah. We all have. We all have, right? And if you're not telling yourself the truth, you need to work on some other lessons. You may need to just go to the internet for a while and
stay tuned. Browse
our learning center for a while. About progress starts by telling the truth, right? But it's so true, though. I mean, we give up all too soon on too many things. And why is it? And I think life gets busy. I think it's busier now than it has been. I was looking at this deal on a Twitter. It was a couple days ago or something that it said the difference between doing business in 2000 versus 2020. And it was talking about in 2000, you worked yourself to death. It was all about the income that was coming in. It didn't matter about the bottom line. And it said you had to have a ton of real estate, right?
Sure.
And today it's all about creating a life balance and having remote workers and the bottom line profit, making things most efficient. And think about the difference in that in 20 years. That's huge. That's a huge difference in 20 years. Okay.
Well, you look at your big box stores going to all the remote checkout.
Exactly.
And part of that is for bottom line, and part of it is because they can't find workers.
Exactly. And you think about the changes there, and is it all good? But what was the key part? They wanted a work-life balance. Why was that? Because I think life is actually busier than it was 20 years ago. We have a lot more technology. I remember getting on the internet was an ordeal. Okay, oh, yeah. you had to turn on that computer. It took 5 minutes just to boot, right?
All those noises it used to make.
Yeah, you go get your coffee, start your coffee, and then then you get on, and then now we got to do the internet, and you hit the little double click the little thing there, and it goes. I'm not going to do it. So anyway, and so you're on your second cup of coffee before you're even online, right? And then you go to AOL,
and then it's slow.
And then it's slow as all get out, right? And so we had time. Think about that. Really think about that. You had time to breathe and think and focus. Well, 20 years has gone by. Now, what's the first thing you do when you roll over in the morning?
First thing I do?
Yeah.
Check my clock.
Check your clock. Okay, well, you're good. You know what I do? I grab my phone.
Oh, really?
Yep, it's my alarm clock.
That's my second.
It's my alarm clock, right?
Yeah.
So I grab my phone. What's the first thing I do? I go to my devotion, which is okay. That kind of motivates me. It's enough to get me out of bed, right? But if I'm lucky, this morning we had a client pass away. I had that on my iMessage, so I immediately did what? Started doing stuff.
Right.
Think about that. Think about the change in things. Is that good? Is that bad? Well, I think it's great in the world of efficiencies and being able to make things move faster and being able to. My goodness, I could work at 5 a.m. this morning, right, and get some things done and taken care of before the day even got going. But is it good mentally?
Probably not.
Probably not, right? I heard a coach several years ago tell me, and I've followed this rule entirely. In fact, I was sharing it with a friend the other day. I do not look at the news in the morning when I get up out of bed. I wait until I'm in my car. Big reason for that. You start the news. What do they talk about on the news? Anything good?
No, it's all negative.
It's all negative. So what's that do to your mindset? For the rest of the day.
Negative
mindset for the rest of the day. So what are you for your kids when you get them out of bed?
Negative.
What are you for the office when you go into the office? Exactly. What are you for yourself, your spouse, everything, right? Okay, so is that really the way you want to start your day?
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not. So so there's step one. Just don't look at the news.
Stay away from the news.
Right. Stay away from the news. Wait till you get to a place that you can say, yeah, those are the worldly problems. God's got those. We'll keep praying and keep doing what we can do, right? You got to get to that strength point that you can keep moving past that. But that fog gets so thick because it's so easy to consume us. That fog, the fog of your phone, the fog of technology, the fog of the bad news that's out there, whatever it is going on, there's just too much fog, and you've not been able to figure out, because it's happened so fast, that it started to consume your life.
You need to get fog lights so you can see through that fog.
Exactly. I love that. Fog lights. We're going to use that. So So when it gets thick and we lose sight of our vision, our goals, our destiny, we give up. And sometimes we give up without even knowing it. How many times have you said this year, my gosh, where's this year gone?
Just in the last few weeks, we've said it numerous times, even on this show.
Yeah, even on this show, right? So the year has gone by so fast. Why is that? Is it because you were so focused on your goals and your vision and your destiny? Or was it because it was cluttered with the other things of life?
Probably clutter.
Right? Yeah. If we're being real honest with ourselves, that's exactly what happens. We get cluttered down with all these other things. So 2020 is upon us. And I have a challenge for you this year. I want you to focus on your vision being 2020, you making that destiny, those goals, your vision, your focus. And how are you going to remove that fog? Well, we're going to give you some questions when we come back on the show. If you're driving, do not write. You can go back to the show online. But otherwise, if you've got a pen and piece of paper, grab them, because I want you to write down these questions. I want you to focus on them so you can make 2020 the year of your vision and your destiny, right here on Life Planning 101.
Final segment, Life Planning 101. We're talking 2020 vision with Angela.
Yes, and it's upon us, right? I mean, if you're listening Saturday, you're in the midst of it. I hope you ate your black eyed peas, right? Okay, so 2020's here. Do you want 2020 vision? Really want 2020 vision? I just mentioned before, during the break, I'm in a mode of decluttering. And I think that's just my mindset all around, is just declutter life, whether it be physically, whether it be the drawers in your house that drive you nuts when you try to open them and you can't close them back and you're shoving stuff in there. Yes, shoving stuff back in there. Can't get it closed, right? What else can we fit in there? We were the only ones that no, you're normal people. Or the garage or whatever it is, decluttering life. And I'm just kind of in that mindset. And so, as I wrote this article, and I encourage you, by the way, go on our website and you can get this if you are listening, Kennedy-financial.com. Sign up for our newsletter. It's going to be in our newsletter, 2020 Vision, this week with all of these questions and with all of this content. And of course, you can re-listen to the podcast as well. But, the thing to remember is the finish line. And we forget that. Forget that because we get bogged down in the fog. I want you to think about when you're driving. I really want you to put this visual into perspective. Have you ever driven in fog?
Absolutely.
Okay. All right. How far can you see?
Not very far, usually.
Not very far. Does fear ever come over you?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. What does fear do to you? What does it do to your body?
Tenses you up.
Tenses you up. Okay. If you were in a wreck, what would happen?
Probably more injuries because you're tense.
More injuries because you're tense. Think about is any of that good that we just asked this question? No, none of that's good. Okay. We do this to ourselves every single day. We're so nearsighted. We're looking at 2 inches from our face. You know that book, Don't Worry About the Small Stuff Because It's All Small Stuff, right? We're so consumed with that small stuff. And it's got us worried, it's got us frustrated, it's got us in fear, and we're living in that environment every single day, and we're tense because of it. So what's it do to the rest of our life? Crash, 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 right? Injury, right? Ourselves and everyone around us. When what should we be focused on?
The future.
That finish line, right? Yes. How far is it down the road? We can't drive in the fog. Pull over and use that time for something else if that's what you need to do.
These mornings like we have this morning where your windows, if you don't have a garage or a carport, and your windows are iced over.
Yes.
You have 2 choices. Either wait, turn it on, heat it, melt it, or try to make it. And you're tense. Yes. And you're scared.
Yes.
And by the time you get to your destination, you're frazzled.
Yep, that's right. So let's defog. What do you say?
Let's do it.
Let's defog. So let's go through some of these questions, because what does removing the fog mean? And as I was thinking through this, I thought, that's not the same for everybody, because some people have their vision perfect. They know what God has called them to do. They've got this destiny out there. They know what they're supposed to be doing, but they're not doing it. And why aren't they doing it? So you have those people. You have those people that need what Joel Osteen calls a re-anointing on their life, right? They need to have something burning inside of them and to find that vision in the first place, right? So you got that 2 ends of the spectrum and everything in between. So I think what this is designed to do is really kind of figure out where you at, and then what do you need to focus on first. And as you move forward, you can come back and revisit it. We talk about our 8 life planning issues with every single family we work with, and we do it on a proactive basis, whether that's incumbent on them or not at that time in their life. And the reason we do that, and we do it as a refresher, 2020, we'll do it as a refresher. The reason we do that is it's may not be incumbent on them then, but as they progress and become more successful, it will become incumbent on them. So to be proactive isn't that much better than being reactive.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Well, your life planning in your own personal sense is no different, right? So do you need to set goals?
Yes.
Okay. So if that's you, then that's where you start. Do you need to set goals? And I should have wrote down some books here, and I'm going to try to think off the top of my head. One of my favorites, okay, is, and I think it's like something Laws of Successful People, and one of the chapters talks about beginning with the end in mind, and it has some very, very wonderful questions in there that they ask. And one of the questions that I always ask is, if we're sitting here 5 years from today, and you're looking back over those past 5 years, what has to happen for you to feel successful about your progress? And that's not just in business. We're talking personally, physically, spiritually, family-wise, everything. Take every facet of your life and ask yourself what's there. Okay, and maybe you don't know. Maybe you don't have any vision or anything burning right now, and you need to go searching. So, read books about your destiny. Get close to God. Start searching His Word and figuring out what that fire really is inside of you and what you're meant to do, and focus on that, right? Maybe you already have those goals. Maybe you've gotten so busy by the fog. All you need to do is
get back on track.
Rekindle that fire, right? So maybe go back to some things that you've written down in past years. I keep and I've done this, I don't know, as long as I've been in a professional environment, I keep what I call a master list. And it's just a yellow piece of paper. Probably need to update to something technology-wise, especially.
But if it works.
Yeah, but if it does work. Okay, so I keep a master list. And what that master list is things that I know I can't do or can't touch this year. And I'll add it to that master list because it intrigues me. It sparks me in some way. It's something that I think I might want to do, or it's a great idea, or something, but it's not something that I'm going to be able to touch or get to. And so rather than saying, I don't want to miss that, or how am I going to remember that, or what's going to happen, I just add it to that master list. And about this time every single year, in fact, this is my goal tomorrow, is I will go back over that master list and ask myself, is there anything that's burning that I want to do this year?
That you can move off of that list.
Move off of that list. But at least I've got that list. So revisit those goals. Go back and look at past notes, past books that you've highlighted, whatever it might be that helps you renew that, right?
Stress also reasonable goals.
Reasonable goals, yes. Like I said, that master list, and I think there's a thing, what's the deal about SMART goals, right? So SMART goals need to, this is an acronym, so I might need some help. They need to be specific. They need to be measurable, okay? Attainable, yep, realistic, and and you need to have a timeline for them. Yeah, and I always work backwards in timelines. So if you want to accomplish this, if it's going to take you 5 years, then what needs to be your 3-year goal? Then what needs to be your 1-year goal? Then what needs to be your 6-month goal? Then what needs to be your 3-month goal? Your 2-month goal? Your 1-month goal? Your 1-week goal, right? And get yourself down to a day, and what are you going to accomplish this week? And you write that down, right? So that's very, very important. Here's another question. Do you need to motivate yourself, revitalize yourself, so to speak, right? I came to a truth about myself a couple months ago. I had found myself getting so exhausted at the end of the day. I was just like a zombie by the time it was nighttime to put our boys down to bed. And you know how they make cartoon jokes about this? You sit in front of the TV and you don't even know what's on the TV because your mind's running in 8 million different directions. Well, that was me. And this was becoming a habit that I was doing every single night. And one of the things I realized is that was making me even more tired. So why was I doing that? So I needed to rechange that habit. And as soon as I rechanged that habit to something that actually put good stuff in,
right, then
guess how I was waking up in the morning?
Better.
Motivated. Yeah, I was ready to go.
The old garbage in, garbage out.
Exactly. And I was getting nothing in, nothing out, right? And there was nothing there. So maybe it's going in your bedroom and stretching. Maybe it's sitting there and just praying. Maybe it's reading, doing your devotion at night. Maybe it's just having a conversation with your spouse and you go to bed at the same time. Whatever that is, that motivates you, revitalizes you, make sure you're doing that on a daily basis. Oh yeah, this was really, really good. So I read this book as we were driving this last week by Andy Stanley, and he's talking about you can't create things overnight, nothing overnight. Think in the biggest example is your health. If you want to be in good health, can you accomplish good health overnight?
No.
But what do people try to do?
That's exactly what they try to do.
Let's go on this fasting diet, not spiritual, but we're just going to go on this fasting diet. And by the way, I'm going to do 90-minute workouts for the next 6 days. Ouch! Unrealistic, unsustainable. Well, it doesn't happen that way. So, but if you do it all the time on a consistent basis, 3 to 4 days of 30 minutes a day of exercise, and you eat right, what ends up happening?
It all becomes habit.
Yeah, it becomes habit and you're in good health, right? You find yourself in good health. Well, that's everything in life, right? Is you've got to find these little measurables of something that you can create as a habit, not just go jump off a deep end and hope it's going to happen, right? That's the biggest. And the same goes with your faith. The same goes with your occupation, with your education. Everything you've ever accomplished in your life, did you do it overnight? Think about it. Really think about it. You never did.
No.
It took you years, maybe decades to accomplish it. So what's different about today? What's different about what's in your heart today? Nothing. Set that frame of mind so you don't have, these expectations that are going to fail. Do you need a plan or someone to hold you accountable? Yeah, you're shaking your head. I think as human beings, we all need that. And I think we're amiss if we say, I know enough. Even wise King Solomon, right? In the Bible, he was the wisest man ever. And he said that he surrounded himself with advisors all the time. Being able to surround himself with those people is what made him wise.
And most great leaders have done that.
Yes, every great leader. Think about if you went to any billionaire, I bet you everything in my bank accounts that they have had multiple people that have helped them along the way and that have been there to hold them accountable. So find that person or find that plan that does that. Do you need a roadmap to get you there? Maybe, some of us, I find this interesting. My husband and I are very polar opposites in some ways, and we're very much alike in some ways, but I'm a very roadmap person. That's my theme. So when he gets a goal in his mind, he'll come to me and say, help me roadmap this. And, of course, I think we all need it, but some of us can do it better than others. And if you can't do it, you need to get help. You're hustling me along here. I told you I could get through these questions. Do you need a life vest to keep you floating when the world is trying to sink you? This is a powerful one. You need to pick out a life vest today when the world tries to sink you. Because is it going to sink you the more successful you get? Absolutely. Okay, the closer you get to God, what happens? Devil comes after you, right?
Knocks you down, yeah.
Yes, exactly. And the same is true with success. Do people like successful people in general?
No. Because they're jealous.
They are, and they will try to sink you. So get that life vest ahead of time to keep you floating. And, you need a plan for when you do fail. This is a biggie. I went to a wonderful service for a friend's mother who passed away this last week, and one of her grandkids said she always taught them that if they fail, they need to get back up. Now, they could sit on the sideline for a little bit, but they needed to get back
in the game.
That's right. So you need a plan, and maybe it's a person, maybe it's your faith, maybe whatever it is, but you need a plan for when you fail, not if you fail, because the greatest accomplishments of life come out of failure, not when. Okay? And there's only one difference between the two: giving up. Right? So don't let that be you. Don't let that be you half a mile out, like Florence Chadwick, that couldn't see her destination, so she gave up. The road to success and the road to failure are almost exactly the same. That was written by Colin Davis, okay? And so if you want 2020 vision in 2020, you need a plan to remove you from that fog every mile along the way. Don't miss it. Make sure you go on to our website, download this for yourself. It might be the most invaluable piece of advice that we can give you all year long. God bless everyone. Happy New Year. My name is Angela Robinson with Kennedy Financial Services here in the great state of Texas in a great town called Eastland.
Thank you for joining us for Life Planning 101, brought to you by Kennedy Financial Services of Eastland. Tune in every Monday morning at 8:30 on KATX and KWBY, and again on Saturday morning at 9 o'clock on KATX and KWBY for more Life Planning 101.
Advisory services offered through Smart Money Group, LLC, a registered investment advisor. Securities offered through Calton & Associates Incorporated, member FINRA SIPC. Kennedy Financial Services Incorporated is an independent of Calton & Associates Incorporated and Smart Money Group, LLC.